Hi all, welcome back to more Labyrinth, The Awakening, playing the Arab Spring scenario solo. This is part 19. So, a couple of days went by, was it? Or was it just yesterday? I never got yesterday. I think it's a couple of days actually. I've been playing that other game on my table, quite enjoying that. Not that I wasn't going to come back to this, but we left things in a bit of a unsure state of what was going on. It all seemed to kick off. Civil war in Syria and Iraq, and then foreign fighters creating caliphate capitals and caliphate countries. And I wasn't 100% sure that I'd got all this right. I think it was the end of the night when I was at it last and didn't feel 100% confident. But I did look over the rules. In fact, I'd done that, was it yesterday or the day before? I just sat off camera and read through everything, and I believe we did get all this right. The two civil wars were created, yeah. The caliphates, yeah, we lost the... How did we lose the militia as well? I can't remember how it all played out. Was that the Quds force? Remove one militia from a Sunni country or two militia from a Shia mixed country. Yeah, that was it. Because we had... damn it. Look what I've just done, and we're about to talk about a multitude of mistakes that have been going on. Right, give me a second. Right, okay, I don't know why I tried to look back on the actual footage, because the camera wasn't here showing me it. So I had to go back and look at part 18. This was, I believe, at 3, as we had finished things off. Well, let's talk about all the... Yeah, it's a shame. Everything throughout the game seemed to be going reasonably well, and there's been a few mistakes made recently, which the guys have picked up. First of all, I'll just go back to the comment. Well, hang on. Hi all. Right, I know this is very much just the beginning of the video, but I didn't get off to a great start. I had things paused for, I don't know, it's probably a good 8 or 9 hours actually went by there. I got dragged away at the time I'd left things here, and then also I had to look back in the first couple of minutes because I'd nudged the prestige marker. I did check back that I'm pretty sure that's where it was. Yeah, let's talk about a few things first before we carry on. I think I've already said that I was a bit concerned about how I went about things. I wasn't sure if things went right here regarding this civil war and this foreign fighters and caliphate stuff, but I looked it over, and I think I've said already that it looks like it's okay, but we will see. There's been a few errors, like I've said, so let's get around then. Well, first off, a couple of comments from part 13 here. What are we on just now? This is 19, isn't it? So 13, I don't think I spoke about these. I did say that Hammer commented about sometimes about YouTube hiding some comments. I thought it was Jean-Yves that had made the comment. It wasn't, it was Tim. I spoke about it already. This was about me missing the adding the reserves at that time, which I'm straight on now. I've got it now, but it was a bit, I was getting a bit confused there, thinking I'd been messing things up for a while, but no. I think it's just that time I'd switched off or something. So yeah, and Tim also comments, he's got a timestamp at 23:38 minute mark. 12.3.12 tells you how to break it down. If the instructions in the event and instructions table in section 12.3 do not identify a single target country, choose randomly. And also Hammer says randomizing is the correct way for cyber warfare. So that must have been the card we were playing. I want to say it was we were choosing between could it have been the posture thing between India, China, and something else? And there was no breakdown on it. And it is clear in the rules. It says if you can't break it down, just randomise it. But I think what keeps you sort of concerned about that is that a lot of the time it does follow tables and priorities and whatever. So I think I'm just a bit worried that I might have missed one. So that's why I maybe think it through more than it needs to be thought through. But here's the thing, I wish I'd maybe thought through some of these other things that are going to come up in a minute. So, anyway, thanks for that, guys. So part 14. Right, that's okay. There's another mistake here. Right, I'll leave a comment in the header and pinned at the 30-minute mark of part 14 and saying, don't think this is correct, as I believe the US needs at least 6 resources. I'm talking about us being in the lead at the time. I think we were on... I think we were on 4 resources, yeah. And they were on 2. And I'm pretty sure with a 1-deck game, come the end of the game, if we've not got at least 6, then we lose. So we need to have more than 6. At the moment, I believe we're winning the game because we've got 7, they've only got 2. We've got more than double them and we're above the 6. So it was just to leave the comment there saying that I believed that I'd got that wrong. I'm pretty sure that is right. So, I'm curious to look at... The thing is, I probably need to look back in the video here. Okay. But anyway, let's pick up on Jean-Yves' comment. And what do you know? It's about Grant forgetting to give them reserves yet again. The 1 hour and 4 minute and 55 second mark, he says, sure, they played the jihadist part of the event, but they played the event and it's an associated one, so you have to fill the reserves. He says, you should really find something to help you since you forgot this quite often. Why not placing red cube on the card when you draw it and determine that it's playable? Yeah, great idea. Hopefully going to try and do that from now. Because I'm clearly missing this all the time. Now, way back at the first playthrough, I want to say the first 2 times I missed it, I caught it just in time. And then since then, I've just... I don't know. I suppose I'll leave it out there to you. Do some of you do the same when you're playing this game? It might be the added sort of distraction of recording this. I might just be making excuses for myself. But I'm just wondering if the added distraction of that throws you. Or is it just something I can't stay focused on? But yeah, I'll look back on his comment and he's right. It was the card that they brought back from the remove from game pile, I think. Played it for the event. It was an unassociated event. At the time, we were sitting with just 1 reserve. And the card was a 2 ops card, so it should have increased to 2. I'm going to chuck them up to 2 right now. I mean, I know it was a good time ago, that. Like I said, this was part 14. I'm on part 19. Well, I'm going to chuck the extra reserve in there. There's 2 or 3 other mistakes that I made. Kind of obviously putting a bit of an asterisk on how this is going to go, which is a bit of a shame because it looks like we might... Well, I'm saying we might be able to hold on to a victory here, but all this mess is getting me thinking. But we're very close to the end of the game. We've only got one more turn after this, and we're sort of halfway through the turn, maybe a wee bit more than. But anyway, you know what? If I come out, I don't mind coming away with the game losing or saying, right, well, I would have won, but I made a few mistakes. Well, that's worse because I'd rather lose the game and not have made mistakes than win the game and have made a mistake, you know. Because that's what I try and thrive on. But I'm sure you all know, it's very difficult not to make any mistakes at all in these games. It's really difficult. I know I came into this whole thing with trying to do videos like that, but I'm probably not I've probably not got the best mind for to do it all like that. But then I have to say I've watched back. I'm not going to start naming names or videos or whatever, but I don't think I've watched a video where somebody's not made a mistake. And the stuff that I played, the stuff we're talking about, quite complex games. A lot of the time war games. I've probably got better results with a couple of games that haven't been war games, but have been quite complex affairs. Let's say I've done 2 or 3 of them. But it could well be that even them have an error or 2 in them. But anyway, I suppose it's not the end of the world, is it? If these things happen. It's what I'd like to try and achieve, but it's probably near impossible, isn't it? So anyway, thanks for that, Jean-Yves, for picking up again on that. And yeah, I like the idea about the red cubes. I know we're getting near the end here, but let's see if I can try and put that in play. I'm just looking down at this. Did they not play this? Or did I add that reserve already? You know what? Maybe it didn't. Because I should have done it at the time they played it. They definitely played that for the event, didn't they? And this is our second card, which we're playing for the event, but this is a jihadist card. But they played that for event. So, were they on 0 reserves when we started this action phase for them? And did I correctly move them up to 1? I don't know. Like I say, it was 2 or 3 days ago that. Well, if not, and they were sitting at 1, I've bumped them up to 2 anyway now. But yeah, it's strange that something like that can just catch you out. Like I say, I watch it back and I'm watching myself doing it, and I think I'm in the moment of concentrating on what this event is going to do and whatever. But yeah, probably a perfect idea. Put a red cube on it. I've got red cubes there. Put a red cube on it, and then leave it like that, and then look at the red cube and say, right, did I play that for the event right now? If you did, and then add the reserves. Hopefully that should draw it to my attention. Because, yeah, missed it far too many times. Anyway, okay. Right, Hammer's comment here. He tends not to put timestamps, but most of his comments are just regarding the whole sort of part of the video, I think. So, well, I'll read that out here. He says, no mistakes here, but plenty of close calls. If Nigeria was potted, you have to flip it to Muslim side, removing the marker. And yeah, we got caught with this before. If a pot goes off in Nigeria, now, again, I need to look back on the whole part, because he's not giving me a timestamp now. I want to say that Nigeria was considered to have a pot placed into it. I feel like the pot was placed in it. But could it be that we removed it and alerted it? What does the rules say about Nigeria then? Because, yeah, I got caught out with this before. If Nigeria has a pot in it, it flips over to its Muslim side. Here it's here, Nigeria. Because, yeah, somebody picked up on it in the previous playthrough. I was like, it's an awkward one, this, because there's nothing to sort of say that this is different without, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's in the rules, but there's nothing to sort of help you along with. Right, wait a minute, if Nigeria gets a plot placed on it, it flips to Muslim side, there's nothing to help you with it, guide you. It's not that other countries do something similar, you know. So it says, it flips to resource level 2 oil exporter, Sunni Muslim country with poor governance and neutral alignment, remove any posture marker after resolving a level 2 or level 3 or WMD plot in the country. So that's all we need from that. So that was after resolving it. And I do think the plot got placed in here, didn't it? And we alerted it. But I can't recall exactly. So I think that's what he's saying. There was not a mistake here, but that was a close call, because if that had went off, that would have happened. I would have forgot all about that, as I did previously. So he's got an edit here after that saying, yeah, I completely missed how Grant played it. So I'm not sure. I need to go back and watch the video. Unless he's commenting on something that I've said about what he said or something. Not too sure. Anyway, he carries on. Great hand. I don't think there's any rule about no aid allowed in an Islamist ruled country, despite how narratively weird it seems. Yeah, I suppose it does seem kind of weird, but I think this was us considering putting. Well, we've only had one Islamist ruled country in the game, haven't we? It's just been Afghanistan. So it must have been the possibility of me placing that in there. I think it's because there was cells there or something. Was it place an aid where there was cells? That was it, yeah. And we went for... No, we didn't went for Iraq. We went for Egypt, yeah. I think, yeah. He says, Reaper for 2 cells always seemed weak to me, to be honest. Maybe if it was 3 cells, question mark. Discarding a card is just so strong. I don't blame Grant for playing safe, though. He's in the lead currently. Yeah, I do feel like I was leading. Whether the situation now changed with the Civil War, Caliphate stuff, I'm not sure. I think it might just happen just a bit too late for us to get taken away from a victory. And then obviously there's the few errors that I made. The reserve, they're going away, and there's another couple to come. He says, somebody's going to have to be fired from that last mistake. How the hell did we misidentify Osama's right-hand man? Yeah, I think he's commenting on that unconfirmed card, wasn't it? Where it came back. It was quite cool the way that worked out, but yeah, I think that's what he's referencing there. Okay, so thanks for that, Hamler. Right, there should be some more, yeah. No, that's 16. Is there nothing for 15 then? No, that's 16 as well. Maybe there was nothing about 15. Right, don't think there is, so let's just move on to 16. What's that messed up here? Hang on, sorry. Here we go. That's 16, right. Right, I've got a comment from 16 that I left in the header as well when I was watching it back. At the 47 and 20-second mark, I say, okay, this is wrong also. I don't know, I might have reworded the actual comment. I'm looking at my phone. Well, can you not just pick it up? Yeah, Gru, this is wrong also. The bot should have used the 1 reserve and attempted to travel 1 cell from Indonesia and Malaysia. We'll discuss this the next chance I get. Yeah, that's again me sort of struggling with the reserve situation and whatever, and they had a 2 ops card. There was 3 cells in Afghanistan, and maybe this is maybe what threw me. They had a 2 ops card. I think this is right anyway. I'm just going on what I can remember. And they wanted to travel 2 cells out of Afghanistan to Egypt, was it? Yeah, Egypt. So, but there was 3 cells there, but remember, they can't travel the last cell. So, although they had at the time 1 reserve, which initially I thought, we'll use the 1 reserve, that's 3 ops, travel the 3 cells, they can't travel that last cell. So what I then done was just leave it at the 2 ops. The 2 ops to travel, they attempted to travel, I can't remember the result, but it left the 1 cell. But we had cells in here as well. So yes, 2 of the cells should have, and remember when you travel from, it can be multiple countries. The travel to country has to be Egypt, but the travel from country could be anywhere. And if it can only do so many from the priority Afghanistan, you then look at the next priority, which I think at that time was Indonesia, Malaysia. So we should have attempted to travel one of these cells with the reserve ops to get up to 3. So nobody's challenged that anyway, so I'm guessing that must have been right, and I blundered with that. Again, I've not used the reserve, so I'm just going to leave it. That's I can't really go back and fix it, sadly. So these are the downsides to doing it the way I do it. But anyway, so right, and then also another mistake here. I'm annoyed about this. I replied to Tim with, yeah, thanks. I'm annoyed about this as I almost stopped to go and check. I was adjusting I was doing something and I accidentally, it's just strange that it happened. I'm talking about in this part because I've done it right at the very start. Nudged this prestige mark and thought, right, where was that? You know, that can happen, eh? I was able to look back on it there. But I should have done that in the previous, in part 16, at the 5-minute 48-second mark. Tim comments, you accidentally bumped the prestige marker here and then set it to 5 instead of 4. So I'd nudged it. It must have looked like it was there. I put it back. It didn't feel like it moved by much, but I sort of paused just briefly. It doesn't really look like it on the video when I watched it. And then I did think about it in my head. Maybe I should go and look to see where that actually was. Because, you know, it wasn't something I'd noticed doing. So all we can do here is, there we go. I'm going to take another hit at my prestige because that should have been at 4. I'd nudged it at 5, so I gained the prestige. That's the best I can do. Whether there's been a die roll that maybe should have had a -1 at the time, I can't really go and fix that. So that's the best I can do, is knock my prestige down 1 bump further. So, yeah, and then 11 minutes and 50-second mark of part 16. Tim also comments, and I think I talk about it not long after this, but he's left this comment here anyway. And this was about how I was confused about the whole how the reserve works. So his comment is, what you were thinking before was that you should always add the reserves to the ops right away, even if you were going to be able to spend all the ops from the card and only have reserves left over for radicalization. Yeah, I think that's meant to be even if you weren't going to be able to spend all the reserves. What I had pointed out then was that you needed to wait until you knew there were going to be points left over before adding in a reserve, since you can't only use only reserves for radicalization. Yeah, I worked it out in the end. So, but thanks anyway. I think I do comment on it later in the video that I realise that, as long as, if there's ops left on the card, and yeah, by all means use your dice like you're doing, Grant. If there's ops left on the card, you've done as much as you can with the operation, then look to see if there's reserves. If there's no ops left on the card, then don't look at the reserves. But he's right, I was initially thinking that we've got 2 ops, we've got 1 reserve, let's use it. I've got 3 ops now. And we can only travel for 2, and there's 1 point left over, so we radicalise that. That's wrong. Yeah. Okay, thanks for that. Right, sorry, this is getting a bit long-winded, isn't it? That was part 16. That's the furthest we'll go, isn't it? Yeah, it was. I think. Part 16. Yeah, there's no more there. Good. Okay. Right, can I get a little bit done and maybe try and wrap a part up here? I'm not sure. It's a bit later at night now and just came up, so I'm not really sure where I'm at. Well, I had left the 2 cards there because I was unsure about if we had carried out things properly. Like I've said, I looked over things and I'm pretty sure we have. The one thing that is bothering me is, did I give the bot the 1 reserve there? Well, however it's turned out, I've bumped them up to 2 anyway because of the misreserve that Jean-Yves had pointed out. So I'd like to hope that I've gave him the reserve for that, but well, there's no guarantees. But for sure, from now on, hopefully I'll remember and put a red cube on the card. So that was their turn, their phase over. They've got only 2 cards left and we've got 5. Yeah, the problem is here, right, I've no idea what I was thinking about doing that. Well, to be honest, I don't know, because all this nonsense that's happened, I've no idea what to do. So let me look at my card. Well, you can look at my cards yourself as well first if you want. I do have training camps and Gaza rockets as 2 jihadist cards. This is sort of strange wording, and we're still not sure. I don't think any of these guys will have seen this yet. This card, or me talking about the fact it's -1 to their funding. I mean, I looked it up on BGG just to see. I can't see any comment on it, so I'm assuming, and there's no errata for it, so I'm assuming the wording's correct. That it's -1 funding. 2 level 1 ports in Israel. Israel's a non-Muslim country, remember, Grant. So you add the number, well, it's a good non-Muslim country. So you just add double the number of their funding, which would be double 1 twice. Yeah, so I would add 4 to their funding. Then we roll the posture. It's not a Schengen country, but we'd roll the posture for it. Now hold on. Can Israel go soft? I don't think it can. In a non-Muslim country other than the US, add port's number to funding, add twice port's number if country at good, and then roll posture, then if WMD in a 2-player game, that's not the case. If Schengen, that's not the case. And then the clarification about, well, I don't know, I'd have to look. I don't think you can change Israel's posture. I could be wrong, there's nothing to say we couldn't put a soft marker in there. I get the feeling that's not how it works though, but maybe. Anyway, so Gaza rockets and training camps, but training camps isn't very good. I mean, this isn't great either. Their funding's at 6. It must have moved up a bit. Oh, it was down at 4. Moved up with the Civil War, the Caliphate thing, didn't it? Yeah. So, anyway, what are the 3 cards? Playing a country, not Iran or Syria, with both awakening reaction markers present. Yeah, they really messed up Syria for us, didn't they? We were sitting with 3 awakening markers there, just waiting to start heading it towards good governance, really. Well, the only country this can happen in is Pakistan. Oh, yeah, no, I remember this. This is really good. The only country this can happen in is Pakistan, and it's poor. You can see it's got awakening reaction markers in it. Unfortunately, they've got 2 to our 1. But the card says, make ally. So it'd go to poor ally, but however, set it to fair. So it'd be fair ally. And then replace all cells there with reaction markers. There's no cells. So it'd go to fair ally, which is really good. Yeah. And yeah, I did want to play that as a card. I'm just not sure what's going to happen here. There's going to be an attrition here, and we're not going to win that. Yeah. Right, the other 2 cards, I do think I maybe need a sort of more clear head. And by the way, when I first hit record earlier today, I had that clear head, but now not so much. I've had a few beers, so it might be better waiting. I guess I just thought I could come up and finish this off as a part. Place 1 militia and an aid marker in a country in civil war. Okay. Right, well that could go in Iraq or Syria. That's probably not that bad either. I don't know if it's worthwhile putting in Syria. What is the multiple... I don't know. How does attrition work? That's what I need to know, I think. You know what? I think I'm going to leave this till tomorrow. I think I'm only about 30 minutes, so I'll just hold this as half apart and come back to it tomorrow. I think that would be better. Playing any country in civil war, yeah. I think these two cards were thought about to be unplayable, and now listen, they are. Place a number of militia equal to the resource value of that country. Wow. Okay, so in actual fact, they two Russian aid militia could put 3 militia and an aid marker into Syria, taking us up to 4 militia, or we could put 3 militia and an aid marker into Iraq. And remember, that although there's already an aid marker in there, this is played by event, so it will place a second one. Yeah, no, that's right. Okay. Yeah, okay, so a bit more to think about, I think. Okay, well, at least I've got the comments out the way, and I can come back tomorrow and hopefully try and finish this turn, and then set ourselves up for the last turn. That's probably best. So I'll go and pause for now, and I'll be back tomorrow sometime. Cheers. Hi all. Right, back to continue this part. I think it's 19. I've been away for a bit again. What I say, we've got about half an hour in here. I'm just adding this on to the other part. I hadn't looked it over yet. I know it's our turn. They've only got 2 cards left. Things are looking pretty good for us. We're in a winning position, although these 2 civil war countries come up. Yeah, I know. Look, you're just adding this to the end of the video. It's just to remind myself where we're at, I suppose. We are only going to have 1 turn after this. We do, however, have 5 cards left. Like I said, they've still got 2. And yeah, before I hit record there, I thought, right, what am I going to do? And I realised when I left earlier in this part, these 2 cards are playable because we've got civil war countries now. And they can put, well, both of them together can put 3 militia and 1 aid marker into a country. Well, sorry, I'm saying 3. It depends on the resource value of the country. In actual fact, putting them in Iraq would give us 3. It's based on the resource value of the country. That would put 3 militia in there, and I would put 2 in there. This other one obviously just puts 1 militia and an aid marker in. So, yeah, just thinking, I hadn't really thought about the fact that we're going to get a slightly better result putting that into Iraq, aren't we? But Iraq doesn't have any cells at the moment. My fear is at the end of this turn, the attrition's going to kick in. They've got 5 cells now. I was double checking the rules for that. It's each group of 6 pieces inflicts 1 hit. So if you've got 5 or less pieces, you roll a die. I mean, there's a high chance the die needs to be equal to or less than, is that? Or groups, if the result is less than or equal to the number of pieces, an additional hit is inflicted. So right now, if we were resolving attrition in Syria, they would roll a dice, and a 5 or less on a d6, they would take that militia out. Now it's simultaneous combat attrition, this. So we would also get to roll, however, we would need because we've only got 1 militia, we would need a 1. And because it's militia, we only get to hit 1 cell. If it been troops, we get 2 cells. The other thing I started thinking about was, we'll put the militia into there and maybe try and do a disrupt. When militia disrupt, they only get to disrupt 1 cell, whereas troops get 2. And also, they're not going to gain, they don't give you prestige. So they 2 things makes me feel like that's probably a wasted. Yeah, it says only remove 1 cell when performing disrupt, and I still don't know the answer to, do we need 2 militia to do it? I'd like to think, I wonder if that could be an errata or clarification. Well, this is going to be an awakening, isn't it? Hang on, let me have a look. Okay, I think it might be here in this errata. yeah, somebody like questioning how did they come into play? They come in with events, that's fine. This year, in what situation could militia disrupt two cells? And then the answer says to amplify an 11.2.4 bullets 3 and 4. The requirements to disrupt two cells at once is for a total of at least two troops and militia present, with at least one of these being troops or two militia with advisors present. Militia can disrupt on their own but require two militia in a non-ally Muslim country. That's the other thing, can't be an ally country. And only affect one cell. I think that answers the question, doesn't it? We do need two. It would seem like that should obviously be the case, but I don't think it's written in the rules there. I might be wrong, but it is written there. So, I just want to check. So they can't be in an ally country. Is that right? They may not be placed or otherwise exist in an Islamist rule, good or non-Muslim country. Why does it say an ally country there? And that felt like that was new to me. If at least one troop is present... No, hang on, that's not it. Militia can disrupt on their own but require two militia in a non-ally Muslim country and only affect one cell. Where does it specify that it has to be a non-ally country? I don't know. This carries on. If at least one troop is present for a two disrupt, prestige will increase +1. Yeah, okay. Reminder that an ally Muslim country can disrupt one cell without the presence of troops or militia, as can a non-Muslim country. Oh, right, I see. It's the disrupt operation. Because if the country's ally... That's wrong. One, Grant. If the country's ally, it allows a disrupt, doesn't it? Non-Muslim country, not Iran. Ally or country with at least two troops. Now, my take on this is... And after this, it probably should say, or two militia in a non-ally country, something like that. Because having, to be honest, it doesn't really matter, does it? The ally country or the two militia, they're still going to just do exactly the same thing. So I'm not quite sure why it says that it needs to be a non-ally country. Anyway, okay, so we do know that we need two if we're going to try and do disrupt. But like I've said, because there's no troops, now I can't get troops in there either, because that needs to be ally, and it's only fair. Now, yes, we could possibly attempt war ideas, moving it to ally, but yeah, I don't think we should be doing that. So I don't think there's any point in me trying to, like I said, disrupt these cells away. But what about adding another 3 cells so that we've got 4 to their 5? It's either that or we could put 1 cell in there and put the other 3 in here. But there's nothing in here just yet. I think what I'm going to do though, my plan was to play both these cards. And originally I'm just thinking put both of them in Syria. But I think what I'm going to do is, I was looking at this again and I thought, Grant, you better watch. If a cell goes into Pakistan right now, or if one of that reaction, the awakening marker got taken away, this is then unplayable. Sorry, no, it's not. The cell would be bad for us. If the awakening marker goes away, it's unplayable because it needs to have both. Right, so I'm going to play this card first for the event. Right, so SCAF 162. The Supreme Council of the Armed Forces in Egypt has stepped in on a number of occasions to restore order. Some would question if it has aided the people or its own position, but there is little doubt that its actions have prevented the country from sliding into a protracted civil war. So SCAF, I mean, I did have a sort of brief thought about this, thinking that, look, we've only got 1 turn left. We're in a command and winning position. We just need to hold on to what we've got. Pakistan is probably not something to be greatly worried about, but so I mean, should I maybe consider using the 3 ops to do something more positive to just defend our lead, you know? So I did start thinking that way. I dare say some of you out there would have better ideas than maybe what to do with that, but it seems like a really good card, and I just still feel like I've got to take advantage of it and use it. The fact that it is playable for me, you know. So, so Scarf, army seizes power. So play in a country not Iran or Syria with both awakening reaction markers present. Well, the only country that applies is Pakistan right now. So I'm going to make it ally, set it to fair, replace all cells there with reaction markers. I mean, that just seems so good right now. And remember, there's no cells as well. That's why I'm taking advantage of getting it done quicker. We're making it ally and turning it fair. And remember, we've also, they've got 2 reaction markers that are 1 awakening, but we've got +1 aid as well. So that balances that out. Now our prestige is down in the low column. Yeah, I had to take another sacrifice. Well, not a sacrifice, I had to update that because I'd accidentally moved my prestige marker up quite a while back, wasn't that? But yeah, I felt like it was right to move it down. Well, it's down at 2, it was at 3 anyway, so it was still down at low. So is that it? And then replace all cells there with reaction markers. Well, there's no cells. No. I've just realised something. Right, I might be taking this back. That's going to remove the awakening marker, isn't it? See, that's sort of feels, because then I've no chance of making it good, because I've right now because this is going from poor to fair, it's going to trigger that, what is it, instead of convergence, so the other one. Oops, throwing things on the floor. It's not convergence, it's disengagement. Every time a country improves its governance 1 level for whatever reason, remove a awaken marker. So that would remove that. That means they've got 2. That means we've got a -2 to our die roll if we did want to try and... No, actually, yeah, it would be -2. Because we'd get a -1 and an extra -1 for trying to go to good, but we've got adjacent Gulf states good. I like good, so it'd be a net die roll modifier -2 in total, I think, which is not any good. So this does doubt. I do have doubts now about playing this card. I'm better just leaving it the way it is, I think. So I think I'm going to take that back. So it was poor adversary, wasn't it? Or was it neutral? I think it was adversary, yeah. Yeah, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do anything about it. However, putting awakening markers in there is helpful, because that way at least I'm stopping the reaction. And now I know there's probably only going to be 1 more end of turn. So, you know, as long as they don't do anything more there, it's fine, but it just seems a bit wasteful that now when I think about it. Yeah, I mean, if they only had 1 reaction marker, it'd be worthwhile considering. Okay, I'm going to take that back. Right, well, why don't we just go with what you said? And I think I'm just going to do this in Syria. I'm just going to play these 2 cards in Syria. Mind you, placing another aid marker into Iraq wouldn't be too shabby as well, would it? adjacent good. Okay, War of Ideas at -1 on the prestige. We'd get a +2 for the 2 aid markers, a +1 for that, and a -1. We'd get a +2. I mean, to be honest, I could use a scaff card in there for that. I mean, do I care about that? Do I want to do that? Well, getting getting Iraq to good, I think it removes the caliphate markers and gives us prestige as well, I think. Where is that? How does it go away? Caliphate capital markers displaced. No, but what about the actual country markers? Show if the country goes good. If it's no longer civil war, yeah, well, if it goes good, it's not going to be civil war anymore, so that's going to go away. We might get a prestige for that. I know that when you remove the capital one, it goes away. Or no, if civil war gets removed from Syria, I think this caliphate capital then moves to Iraq if it's still under civil war. So how about putting the 2 militia in Syria and just putting the 1 militia and aid marker in Iraq? And then, well, in fact, hang on. And 4 more cells and troops, yeah, Syria. Well, they've got 5 to our 1, so it's only 4 more, so they need more cells there, don't they? Okay. Yeah, I think I might do this. I don't know where they're going to recruit, because both of these are going to be auto recruits. Shouldn't you maybe look and see what the priority is there then, Grant? Hold on. They can't recruit. Their funding's still at moderate, and the 3 cells up there are an ample, so they can't recruit. They've not got adjacent travel, so that's good as well. Okay, right. I'm going to do... I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to play Russian Aid for the event. Okay, so let's have a look at that one. Hopefully we play it this time. Right, so it's right down the bottom of the page here. Russian Aid. Timely Russian aid kept the Assad government hopeful during its darkest hour, and the later Russian intervention restored the initiative to the Alawite regime. So Russian aid, Soviet-era equipment keeps regime alive. Place 1 militia and an aid marker in a country in civil war. Right. So 2 countries in civil war. I think I'm going to go for Iraq. Yeah. So I'm going to put 1, and there's an aid marker already in there. However, this aid marker's coming in by an event, and as far as I'm aware, that's fine. We can add another aid marker. Should I double check that? You're going to anyway, Grant, aren't you? Alright, so just to clarify, page 9, this is the base rules. 7.2.2 aid markers. The first aid marker, so it says that, 7.2.2.1, the first aid marker. When making a War of Ideas roll in a Muslim country, if the success die roll fails by 1 pip in a country without aid, then place an aid marker there. Events also may place the first aid marker in a country. Additional aid markers, War of Ideas can place only the first aid marker in a country. Only events can add additional aid markers accumulate until removed. Only events can add additional aid markers accumulate until removed. And then they're removed on good governance, Islamist rule, Um, a successful Jihad or port resolution roll removes 1 aid as well. Okay, so good. So we've got 2 aid markers there. Yeah, I mean, although I maybe don't really need the militia there, and probably it's more important to have the militia in there, but I'm going to put the other. I think I'm going to use this and put the other 2 militia in there. Then we've got a better die roll to hit there. I mean, they've got a high chance of hitting me. I would prefer to have had 4 militia in there, but feels like the aid marker going in there just feels pretty strong, and I might well use that scaff card. I mean, I could go for it right now. I try and shift it to ally. No, I don't think so. I think I'll play this. So I'm going to play this for event, militia, as my second card play. That was good. They're on the same page. Militia. All too often desperate governments or popular forces were forced to rely on local tribes, sectarian militia, or even warlords to provide a level of security. These militia became frontline combatants in the Arab Spring civil wars. Okay, so militia, local protection forces organise. Playing in any country in civil war or regime change. We've only got civil war. We've got 2 options. Place a number of militia equal to the resource value of that country. So yeah, I mean, we could add 3 more into Iraq because it's got 3 resources, but I'm going to go for Syria because we know there's going to be an attrition in there. And again, we only need to survive. Well, it's another turn, but you know, I'll just tuck these at the side. It's getting a bit busy, this country. Right, but they're in Syria anyway. So it was 2, wasn't it? Right, good. Okay, so now we've got our scaff card, which I think I'll probably do a war ideas attempt in Iraq. And then we've got a problem here. Either play. Well, I think the Gaza Rockets is probably the worst of the 2, but I don't know, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure. And this would be 3 ops, and we could have another war ideas attempt in Iraq. Okay, well, that's our turnover. 2 cards played for event, but are just discarded. So, can I do a bit more? It's probably about 50 odd minutes, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'll go for their last 2 cards. Probably at back to work today. Been off for about a week actually, so not feeling great about having to go back to work. But the longer you're off, the worse it gets. Anyway, right. So their last 2 cards. Ooh, Je suis Charlie. Okay. Unassociated event. Right. Where's that red cube? Let's just put a red cube in that right now. This was Jean-Yves' suggestion, and hopefully this will remind me. If it doesn't get played for event, fair enough. But if I do that right away when I see it's unassociated, at least then we can work on if it gets played or not, and hopefully adjust the reserve. They've got 2 reserves at the moment. Well, get in the habit of doing it though, Grant. It's probably better. So, play if a plot was resolved in a non-Muslim country, last resolved plots phase. Well, no, because I'll tell you why I know that. Because there would be a plot. Well, if it had been a WMD plot, it wouldn't be up there, Grant. But if it was a normal plot, it'd be up in that resolved plots box right now, wouldn't it? Because the expansion changed that up a bit. So I think this is unplayable. Play if a plot was resolved in a non-Muslim country, last resolved plots phase. Okay, so it's going to be unplayable, isn't it? Right, does that mean I can take the little red cube off? I think so. I'll just leave it like. Well, I'm going to put another card on top. Right, it's not played for event, and I've got 2 reserves anyway. I couldn't get any more reserves added here. So they're using 2 reserves to do something. well, like I said, they can't recruit themselves. Well, let's see what they are going to do then. There's a few cells lying about. They're probably going to attempt to travel with them. So, a playable non-use event. No. Is Major Jihad success at poor possible? Right, let's have a look. We at first covered, they had, I would say 5 cells in there. We put 5 troops down into here to stop that. Then they started travelling these cells out when they couldn't put any more. We've got 4 to 4 there. So my take is they'll probably attempt to move them out. They've only got 1 in Afghanistan, but remember, they don't want to travel the last cell out of an auto-recruit country. Ooh, there's 2 other auto-recruit countries now. But they need to have 2 cells, I think. Only travel the last cell of an auto-recruit country if at least 2 other auto-recruit countries have cells. Well, Syria's auto-recruit, it's got cells. Iraq is auto-recruit, but it doesn't. So they're not going to consider moving that just yet. Don't believe. Okay, so, I mean, there's no major... They've got 5 cells. Remember, the militia do work like troops when they're looking at jihad. So that's 5 to 3. It is 1 to 4 more cells and troops there. Whereas Egypt is not that the case, and neither is Indonesia and Malaysia. So moving on, there's no major jihad success at poor possible. Is funding tight? No, it's moderate. Is it selling good or fair? Yeah, it's going to do it's going to attempt a minor jihad. I forgot about that. Is that right? Is there anything about this civil war situation being any different there? So, it looks like they've got a cell in a good or fair Muslim country where a jihad success is possible. A jihad success attempt. So, JSP, jihad success possible, yeah. So, purpose is worse than governance. We are at fair neutral. So, it would remove aid as well. So, another reason maybe not to have targeted that. Not one that I thought about. And I wasn't thinking about them trying a jihad here, actually. Muslim country containing cells and not under Islamist rule. Yes. For each role in the target country, 1 cell there must go or already be active. Some energy jihad. Each success worsen governance 1 level towards poor. Remove 1 aid. Each failure removes a cell at the track. So this is a 2 ops card. However, they've got 2 reserves. So we're going to attempt this with 3 dice, 3 cells. And they'd need a 2 or less to succeed. I've just got this niggling doubt about the fact this is a caliphate, a civil war country. And it's got a Baziz regime though. I think this is alright. It's still fair neutral. I don't know, there's something sort of bothering me there. But it did put... When did it put the Baziz regime in? When the cells went in? I can't remember now. Let me have another look on... Yeah, if it goes Islamist rule, it stops being civil war. The caliphate bit, I'm not sure about though. Yeah, because adjacent countries that are Islamist rule, yeah, it can be Islamist rule and still be the caliphate, yeah. So what am I concerned about? Civil war, if good governance make fair. So Islamist rule make poor. Otherwise leave governance as is, yeah. So when it went Islamist rule, it must have been fair. And do not adjust alignment. Replace civil war marker, replace all awakening markers with equal number of blue militia, replace all reaction markers, yeah. And you may auto-recruit in that country, okay. Right, okay, I think this is fine. So, it's going to attempt this minor jihad then, with the 2 ops from the card, and it's going to add one reserve, and it's going to do that right now so that it gets, because it can do it with three of these active cells. Now the cells would have to go active or already be active. So yeah, one cell must go or already be active. It's a minor jihad. Ooh, I tell you what, hang on. Could this turn into a major jihad? Because there's a Baziz regime marker there. So, but it still needs, does it not still need 5 more cells and troops? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So it can't do a major jihad. If we didn't have the militia there though, this would be an attempt at major jihad. Now they need 1 success to turn it to poor, and then only 1 success because they've got a Baziz regime. Yeah, but because we've got the militia, that's fine, we're good. Right, so 3 attempts, and they'll succeed on a 1 or a 2. Keep them all high. Oh my. Right, that was a 3. So the 3 fails, however the 2 2s are successful. So 1 cell failed, goes back to the track. The other 2 were successful, so that goes poor neutral. Now, yeah, well, there's no awakening reaction markers. There's no reaction markers there anyway. However, that has dropped that by 1, increased that by 1. Alright, yep. Okay, yeah, so, and then, however, next turn they're going to have to work on getting more cells to, yeah, I would have, rather they didn't succeed with 2 there. If they were going to succeed just with 1, then that would have lost another cell, because that will affect that attrition as well, won't it? Anyway, they've only got 1 more card to play though, Grant. So that was their first card play. I think that's all that's happening. Yeah, because it went from fair to poor, which does kick in, what's it called? Disengagement, but there's no reaction markers there because it's civil war, so that's fine. Okay, right, and we didn't play that for event, no additional reserves getting added, blah blah blah. Right, the last card of this second last turn, right, Abu Ghraib jailbreak. So this is a jihadist card. Place an active cell and a reaction marker in Iraq. No, don't. -1 prestige. Tell you what, our prestige is about to drop to 1. I mean, I know it's a bit of a stretch, but yeah. If they get the poor Islamist rule countries to 15 and we're at 1 prestige, they win. But I mean, come on, Grant, that's 6. There's 6 countries away. Okay, yeah, this is playable. Right, card 171, Abu Ghraib jailbreak. The 22nd of July 2013 commando-style operation to release these prisoners infused new hope in the Sunni population and the remnants of Al-Qaeda in Iraq, and cast doubt about organisational control of the post-US departure regime. Right, so this is kind of bad. After us just targeting Iraq with that, whatever card it was, can't remember the name now. So place an active cell and a reaction marker in Iraq, and then it's -1 prestige, and then this card's removed. Right, well, let's just get our prestige while we're here. So our prestige is down at 1. Remember, they've not got recruitable cells at the moment, but this is just place a cell. So, and it says to place an active cell, so we'll turn it up that way. Remove the cadre. So I'll remove the cadre and a reaction marker. Oops. So that knocks one of our +1 War of Ideas attempts. Well, So right now we'd have a -1 for the reaction, a -1 for prestige. The 2 +1 aid markers balance that out. Then we've got a +1 for adjacent good ally. So we are getting still a +1 on that. I'm not sure. That's me at an hour or so anyway. So I think I'm going to leave that. I might get back before I head off to work. Right, these were both played for... No, this wasn't played for event. This was played for event. It's removed from the game. Other card just goes discard pile. So that's them played all their cards. Now, we've got 3 cards left. One of which we're not going to play. So our last phase is going to be to play 2 of these cards. I'm not sure which. Now, to be honest, but yeah, I'm gonna have to ponder a bit more on what's going on. I still feel like we're in a good position. What happened in Syria was kind of horrible because Syria was going to tick away. We had 3 awakening markers in there, wasn't it? At the end of the turn, it was going to go fair ally, and then end it. Well, would that matter? The end of the next turn. I don't know if you get to the end of the turn, do you? No, I think you still carry out that end of turn phase, don't you? Polarization comes before deal new cards. So yeah, it would have. I think it would have went good and gave us an extra couple of points. But we're still sitting okay, and we're covering our bases, although they're doing some nasty things as well. Right, okay, I'll get away for now, and well, I'm not sure. I have been a bit quieter here. I've been messing about with that other game a bit more than I thought I might. And now I'm kind of back to work, late back shifts. Might get a shot in the mornings before work a bit, but yeah, it's probably going to dry up a little bit for now. Anyway, I'll be back when I can. Cheers.